Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into a crisis that is not just environmental but existential. Iran, a nation with a rich history and vibrant culture, is now facing one of the most severe water crises in modern times. Rivers are drying, reservoirs are shrinking, and farmland is turning into desert. This is more than just a shortage, it's a collapse that affects every aspect of life in the country. Understanding this crisis is vital, not only for Iran but for the world, because water scarcity is a global warning. The first thing to understand is geography. Iran is largely arid or semi-arid. Its climate, combined with overuse of water resources, has created a perfect storm. The country relies heavily on its rivers and underground aquifers, many of which are being depleted faster than nature can replenish them. Dams, once seen as a solution, have ironically worsened the problem by disrupting natural water flow and causing soil erosion downstream. Major rivers like the Zayande River have dried up, leaving communities stranded and farmers devastated. Agriculture, which consumes the majority of Iran's water, is at the center of this crisis. Crops such as wheat, barley, and rice require large amounts of water, and irrigation systems in Iran are often outdated and inefficient. Farmers face the impossible choice of abandoning their lands or overpumping scarce groundwater, which leads to further environmental degradation. In some provinces, wells have gone dry, and the soil has hardened into dust, making traditional farming nearly impossible. This shortage is not just about agriculture, it affects daily life. Cities struggle to provide clean drinking water. Residents in major urban centers have faced water rationing for weeks, sometimes months. In smaller towns and villages, people are forced to rely on water deliveries by trucks, often of questionable quality. Schools, hospitals, and businesses suffer. Industries that depend on water, such as food processing and textile manufacturing, are scaling down operations or shutting down entirely. Climate change is a significant factor accelerating this crisis. Iran has seen rising temperatures over the past decades, leading to decreased rainfall and higher evaporation rates. Snowfall in mountain ranges, which replenishes rivers and aquifers, has also decreased dramatically. This combination of less precipitation and higher demand has created a tipping point. Scientists warn that if current trends continue, some regions may become virtually uninhabitable within decades. The social impact of water scarcity is profound. In many regions, communities are being uprooted as people migrate in search of water and livelihoods. Tensions rise between rural and urban areas, and between provinces competing for limited resources. Water scarcity has also been linked to political unrest, as citizens demand action from authorities who are often slow to respond. Protests over water shortages have erupted in several cities, reflecting the deep frustration and desperation felt by the population. Economically, the water crisis is costing Iran billions of dollars. Loss of agricultural output affects domestic food supply and exports. Declining water levels threaten hydroelectric power generation, forcing the country to rely on more expensive and polluting energy sources. Businesses are forced to invest in water-saving technologies, increasing operational costs. Foreign investors are wary, seeing water scarcity as a risk to stability and profitability. One of the most alarming aspects is groundwater depletion. Iran is pumping water from underground aquifers faster than they can naturally recharge. This has caused the land to sink in several regions, a phenomenon known as subsidence. Once fertile lands have turned into salt flats, and entire villages have been abandoned. Experts estimate that some aquifers could be completely depleted within the next 20 years if no corrective action is taken. Government policies and mismanagement have contributed to the severity of the crisis. Inefficient water allocation, poor maintenance of infrastructure, and lack of public awareness campaigns have all played a role. While some dams and reservoirs have been constructed to store water, many were poorly planned, disrupting ecosystems and failing to address the underlying problem of overconsumption. Attempts to implement water-saving measures have met with limited success due to bureaucratic hurdles and resistance from powerful agricultural lobbies. The environmental consequences are devastating. Wetlands and lakes that once supported diverse ecosystems are shrinking or disappearing. Wildlife is losing its habitat, and migratory birds have fewer stopover points. Deforestation and desertification are accelerating, contributing to soil erosion and dust storms. Iran, historically known for its diverse landscapes, now faces the prospect of widespread ecological collapse. Public health is also at risk. Scarce water sources often become contaminated, leading to outbreaks of waterborne diseases. Hygiene and sanitation are compromised, especially in rural areas. Malnutrition increases as agricultural production declines, and mental health problems rise due to the stress of living in an uncertain environment. Children are particularly vulnerable, facing both physical and psychological challenges. Internationally, Iran's water crisis has implications for neighboring countries. Rivers often cross borders, and disputes over water allocation can heighten regional tensions. Countries like Iraq and Afghanistan share water resources with Iran, and declining flow from upstream sources affects their agriculture and urban supply. The crisis is a stark reminder that water scarcity is not confined by borders and requires cooperative management at a regional level. Technological solutions offer some hope, though they are not a panacea. Desalination plants, drip irrigation, and wastewater recycling can mitigate some of the shortages, but they require significant investment and energy. Iran has begun exploring these technologies, but implementation is uneven. Conservation measures, public awareness campaigns, and incentives for efficient water use are equally important, yet progress has been slow. Cultural factors also play a role. Traditional practices of water management, such as Qanat's underground channels that transport water from mountains to cities, have been neglected. These ancient systems were remarkably efficient, but have fallen into disrepair due to modern infrastructure projects. Reviving and modernizing these traditional techniques could provide sustainable solutions, blending history with innovation. Looking at the human dimension, the stories of individuals affected by water scarcity are heartbreaking. Farmers forced to abandon their land, families traveling miles for clean water, children missing school because of drought, induced poverty. These narratives paint a vivid picture of a society under stress. Their resilience is admirable, but the pressure is mounting, and without systemic change, many communities face an uncertain future. Education and awareness are key to tackling this crisis. Citizens need to understand the importance of water conservation and the consequences of overuse. Schools and media campaigns can play a significant role in fostering a culture of sustainability. Encouraging responsible consumption, reducing waste, and adopting water-saving technologies at the household level can collectively make a difference. Policy reform is crucial. The government must implement stricter regulations on water usage, invest in infrastructure maintenance, and prioritize sustainable agricultural practices. Equitable water distribution between urban and rural areas, as well as between different provinces, is necessary to prevent social unrest. Collaborative planning with scientists, engineers, and local communities can help develop long-term strategies that balance human needs with environmental sustainability. International collaboration can provide technical and financial support. Organizations specializing in water management, climate adaptation, and sustainable agriculture can offer expertise and resources. Sharing knowledge from countries facing similar challenges can accelerate Iran's efforts to address its water crisis effectively. Global attention can also incentivize policy changes and investments. The psychological impact of living under constant water scarcity cannot be overlooked. Anxiety, stress, and uncertainty affect daily life, particularly for vulnerable populations. Communities that once thrived now face a shrinking horizon, with opportunities limited by environmental constraints. Support networks, mental health initiatives, and community engagement can help mitigate some of these challenges, but they cannot replace the need for real solutions to the water shortage itself. Urban planning and infrastructure must adapt to the reality of water scarcity. Cities need to redesign water supply systems, integrate recycling and rainwater harvesting, and plan for future population growth without overtaxing limited resources. Smart technologies, sensors, and data-driven water management can optimize distribution and reduce losses, but they require investment and political will. Iran's water crisis is also a cautionary tale for the world. Many countries face similar challenges due to climate change, overpopulation, and unsustainable practices. Lessons from Iran's experience can inform global strategies for water security. It highlights the need for proactive measures, long-term planning, and the integration of environmental considerations into economic and social policies. The role of media and journalism is critical in raising awareness. Stories of drought, migration, and environmental degradation need to reach both national and international audiences. Public pressure can drive policy changes and encourage citizens to adopt sustainable practices. Documentaries, news coverage, and social media campaigns all play a part in keeping the crisis visible and urgent. In conclusion, Iran's water crisis is more than an environmental problem. It is a multi-dimensional collapse affecting every facet of life. From agriculture and industry to health and social stability, water scarcity touches all aspects of society. Urgent action is required to manage resources sustainably, invest in technology, reform policies, and educate the population. Without decisive intervention, the consequences will continue to escalate, threatening livelihoods, ecosystems, and the nation's future. We cannot ignore the lessons Iran offers the world. Water is life, and when it runs out, civilization itself is at risk. The situation demands global attention, regional cooperation, and a commitment to sustainability. Only by understanding the complexity of this crisis can we hope to prevent similar disasters elsewhere.